Good morning from London. So the story I want to tell you today it's from a few years ago, like the time I lived in Edinburgh. It's at this time I went to visit my family, my brother and his wife and baby that at the time was not even 1 year old in Malta. That holiday, it was a big lesson, and because the idea, like for everyone, when planning a holiday, especially if you go to visit a family, is to travel, is to laugh, is to play. You kind of expect to play, laugh with the baby, go for a walk together. And I never been to Malta at the time. It was the first time, so you think you go with your brother, sister-in-law, they show you around, playing with the baby, go to the beach, and wasn't like this. It was horrible. It was horrible for many reasons. Some of them due for some of my brother's problem. It was sad. It was sad. It was sad, and it was sad to see people. You expect to see some people, and you wish for them to be happy. For many of us, when we care about people, obviously we wish for them, to have a happy life. You wish for a couple to be like in a movie, right? Like they love each other, they help each other, they play with the kid, they help each other with the kid. So that's the how ideal world in what we would love to be our ideal world. But sometime often, more often than not, it's not. There are problems, and sometimes there can be big problems. That, made me think a lot. Made me think a lot about me as well. Because, since I was a kid, growing up, I felt life to be so unfair. Because, you were born with a certain type of personality. You were born maybe in some life circumstances that are not the best, with a lot of suffering. And apart if you believe that you decide everything before coming back to life to learn lessons, and that's what a lot of people that had near-death experiences claim, that we decide the family, the environment, the circumstances, because all of this will help us to learn the lessons we need to learn when we reincarnate, if you believe in reincarnations. But to make sure that those lessons are learned properly, we forget that we choose it, so that we don't know. We just find ourselves with what life thrown at us, and we don't know why. So obviously, except if you develop some beliefs about life, you might embrace that and then try to face the challenges and change, or you might blame it and get bitter and upset and angry. So sometimes you might go through that path of angriness and frustration, feeling unfair, and then through that changing, realizing, and this always comes to what you end up to believe. So obviously, you know, for part of my life, I blame life for all that happened to me. You know, my father died, all the debt that he left for helping a friend with a business, blaming my mom for not being able to handle the situation better, and it's not her fault, obviously. So I blame everyone and God and life. So at some point things changed, some, you know, or things happen, and you know, I started to experience some interesting things, like mystical experiences, let's call it, and I started to develop some beliefs about life that I don't know 100% to be true, but I like to believe it instantly. It makes me feel good, it makes me feel better. So because of that, I started trying changing, and that's when I came to realize that when you, like, is the hardest part. The hardest part in this journey is trying to change, is to change an aspect of our life we don't like, to change part of our personality we don't like, to change the person we became because, you know, life circumstances, suffering, betrayal, and you know, like things like what we would want to have if we were not in that, like, the way we are, and they would, like, you know, like anger about, you know, things like, oh, if I was different, I could make the right choice, but because I was like, you know, I was like this, I couldn't. So all of those things, if it makes sense, you know, might at some point push you to change. And that's when I think for many of us, when we realize that is the hardest things in the world, to transform ourselves, to change, to unlearn what we learn, and to change what we became. So that's why I now understand it's really easier to go on the street, do a revolution. It's much easier than go out there in the street trying to change yourself from a angry, impatient person to someone patient, someone happier. It's hard. Like, we know, no, we always talk about to live in the present moment. Try to fully apply this rule. Is the hardest. So that's why I feel it's easier to address other people's problems, you know, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Yeah, like you could actually see what that person has to change, needs to change. You can see what is a problem about the person, but it's easier to give advice than actually trying to change yourself. And it's a fight, it's a daily struggle. You know, like the acceptance that we could, you know, step backs. Is a struggle to accept that not always we can be full in the present moment. So all of this is a challenge, and is the biggest challenge, is the biggest transformation, is the biggest revolution. Because when we talk about revolution, like I said many times, there is no bigger revolution than the revolution of the soul. It's the only revolution that can really bring something good in this society, or, you know, something good in what we call life, because there is no other way to change. There is no other way to change. There is nothing. Well, let's not talk about wars. Wars, going out there, killing other people. Well, we may be, you know, tough to believe that. I mean, we've been brainwashed, conditioned to believe that if you go and kill other people, we are going to bring peace and we're going to bring a better society. This is like one of the biggest lies that we've been brainwashed to believe since a young age. And somehow most of us believes that. Wars don't bring peace. There is no such a thing as murdering other people and bringing peace after that. This is just a story they made us to believe that benefit only the people that starts those wars. The only fight, it's within you, within yourself. And if one day we are going to believe and we are going to understand this, that's when peace will actually really arrive. So at that time when I came back from Malta, I already scheduled an appointment at the Buddhist temple in Edinburgh, because a Thai friend invited me to go, because a famous Thai monk was visiting and wanted me to meet him. So I made it. I made it not on time, but just toward the end. So I had, you know, in time enough to be kind of like blessed by the monk and to listen some of his wisdom. So I remember to kneel my knees in front of him, and that's because that's what they do. you know, when there is a monk, they, as a sign of respect, and my knees was in pain at some point. I couldn't stay in that position anymore, but I couldn't stand up. It would be rude. So I had to just suck it up, keep the pain. It was so uncomfortable. Trying, obviously, because at the same time I was trying to focus on what he was saying. And he said something that was so wise. You always need to take yourself back to the present, where you can overview your emotions, you can supervise your emotion, because your emotions, due to the external circumstances, your emotions will try to take you everywhere. Obviously, your emotions that is connected to what you think can, elevate you to be a king or take you down to nothing. And it's all us. Literally, it's all us. We can make ourselves feeling amazing and making ourselves feeling miserable. So we always have to monitor our thoughts and our emotions to be able to be constantly in the present moment. What we call real, if a reality exists, it's happening right now. Right now, like now, already what I said now is already in the past. Anything like is happening right now is the real. So, and nothing can hurt you right now. All right. So, and this, obviously brings you back to changing within and realizing how hard it is, but there is no other solutions. There is nothing can be changed outside if before we don't fight our demons and learn to control them. Nothing is gonna change. You will just keep evolving, repeating himself in different forms, in different country, in different people, in different languages, because no one of the people that starts those revolution and wars actually have tried to change themselves. The only people that did this war are normally tend to become non-violent, tended to be more peaceful, trying to be more lovable, tend to be more understanding about others and others' beliefs. And trust me, it's hard to become like this, to become someone patient, someone kind, someone always able to respect other people's opinion. It's so hard, but once you master that, it might take millions of lifetimes, then you can really create a better society. All we can do is to be, already if we are a work in progress being, I believe that we are already doing well, as long as we keep being, as long as we still in work in progress. As long as you are in work in progress, you're already, I think you're already doing well. So let's have a good day, everyone.